Okay, Daryl, you're
Ready?
it's all you.
All right, let's stand. Say the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order for January 22nd, 2024. Need a roll call. I'll call it. Jeff Cole?
Yes.
Tom Rucker?
Yes.
Darrell Huff, yes. Okay, I need a motion to approve the warrant, or the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for Morgan Township Board of Trustee dated January 8th, 2024 as written.
Second?
Jeff?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Darrell? Yes. I need a motion to approve the warrants.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment listing from 1/9/2024 through 1/22/2024. Payment number 1-2024 through 47-2024. Warrant number 12446 through 12474 for a total of $75,387.98.
Second?
Tom?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Darrell? Yes. All right. All warrants are approved, minutes approved. Now, we're going to another, go out of the regular meeting for a little bit here. We're going to do a special dedication tonight for some of our, or one of our older members. And I'd like to, is Jeff here? Yeah. Jeff, get up.
I'll turn it on. Yeah, can you hear me? I've never spoken in front of this big a crowd. I get nervous. I'm not a wordsmith, but I'm Jeff Griffith. I'm the chief when I'm not on medical leave, which I currently am because I'm old and get injured off duty. So when I became chief, one of the biggest things that bothered me from the 15 and a half years that I've been here was I got here and I'm like, well, who's this Tompkins guy? What's his story? What's he about? And JR told me, but no one knew it. And I carried that around for 15 years. And when I became chief, I said, I'm going to fix this because this is a loss on duty death. And you say, okay, since this is on YouTube and the whole world, a loss on duty death is somebody who dies in the line of duty. There's two different types. There's those that die immediately, and there's those that are left with a malady that takes their life later. Back when Chief Tompkins passed, occupational cancer was not really recognized much. You had to make a heck of a case to be occupational cancer in the 80s. Now it's a little better. I lost my good friend Tim Burns to occupational renal cancer, and the state opened the definition of occupational cancer to include a lot more people who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And Chief Tompkins on that run went on a run like any volunteer did. The bell rang, and he went. As Frankie told me, there's many times he missed everything in the world like any volunteer did. We all left our families at holidays, meals. We didn't leave because we wanted to be there for the big one. He responded to the big one. It was a trailer fire. Trailer fires, nothing against people live in trailers. They're death traps. The amount of toxic chemicals in a trailer, even today, is unbelievable because this is how they're built. So, he was in that zone. Now we do all this. We wash down. We do this. We do that to try to prevent these occupational cancers. Back then, it didn't exist. He just did what everybody did. And then I'm like, well, how did the department start? And they're like, well, 6 or 7 guys said we can do it better. Right, JR? I mean, that's what they said because they love their community. Like any volunteer does, and I hope anybody who wears a Morgan Township t-shirt does. We want to serve our residents. This is a special place. But I never felt that he was properly recognized for the sacrifice and the family that was recognized for the sacrifice. So I went on this journey to get the station dedicated, and if you drive past it, you'll see it. Big white letters. I had, Frankie approve it. But I said, chiefs come and go, so there's going to be something in that station forever. So then I went on a journey to get this done. And you say, it's been a year, what took you so long? Well, the man didn't like pictures. We tried to get pictures of him, and my dad, I have like 4 pictures of my father. He'd be 90-something. They just didn't get pictures taken. So then we got Walt, and we got in trouble for this, Walt, didn't we? We raided the Historical Society. We blew those up, and those got lost. I don't know. Right. So we blew those up, and they got distorted that Lois couldn't do it. By the way, this was done by Lois, Signery 2. And the best part about this is Lois did this for free. I didn't go in and ask her to do it for free. I brought her the theory and the concept. She got it done, and she said no charge. She says, I can't charge for this because you can't put a price on what. So if you see Lois, thank her. She's very unassuming, and she really wants no credit, but I'm going to give it to her. So then we needed a picture. And I'm like, I am no artist. So Sandy Tyler, if you don't know, she is on the park board, and she's quite a talented artist. So I commissioned her to do a pencil, right, Sandy? Pencil drawing from another picture that was suitable in size that we could blow up and make this. And everybody says it's a young Frankie. It's all we had. I wish he had taken more pictures. He didn't. So we had this done. And the statement there I wrote. I'm no wordsmith, but I wanted it to always be known that that was what I felt at that time when I did it. Because I'm not a prepared speech guy. I shoot from the hip. Sometimes it gets me in trouble. Sometimes it doesn't. But, Chief Tompkins gave his life for this township, doing what every other volunteer does. So the station's dedicated. This is going to go outside my office, in the hallway, in the public area, and I find out even when I'm gone, anybody takes that down. But I asked some friends will probably make sure that doesn't happen, or the letters up there. I can't say enough about his sacrifice. Thank you to the families. Thank you to every body who loved him, and he went early because of obviously the work he did as a volunteer. And I don't think there's any higher calling than that, in my mind, in my heart. And this, I feel that I've righted the wrong now, and whatever happens in my life, I've done the biggest, in my mind, the biggest injustice that I've ever. And it's not any on purpose injustice. It's sometimes we forget our past, and some people say, Morgan Township, it had a little rough and tumble past, but it's our history. It doesn't change. And I lived here 16 years. I'm a nanosecond of Morgan Township life. But, and I went to the trustees, and, Daryl's lived here all his life. Mr. Cole served honorably to his country in the Air Force. Tom was a volunteer, and they said go. And I said, I'm gone. So I couldn't do it without their approval, and I couldn't do it without Rob Brem hanging everything, because he saved me some money, because he's going to hang this, and he did the letters out there, and I appreciate that, Rob, beyond. And Rob was a volunteer. We've all served our community in one way or the other. And I just, I'm happy this is done, and once it gets hung, I can walk by it if I ever get back and just touch it, because this is history. And, once a year, there's a memorial in Dayton to lost on duty death, and his name is on there. And they publish it on Facebook every year. I try to always remember to put it up. But, when he passed, in 1982, I was doing the math. I was a senior in high school, and I'm no young chicken, so. But I just am happy this is done. And if Frank, you'd like to come up and say a few words, or anybody else, and then I'll have the trustees. I'm just so thrilled this is done. Thank you to Sandy. Thank you to everybody who helped me on this journey to get this done. And that's it. And I got something for you too, Frank.
Thank you, Jeff. And trustees and the fire department, the family is honored that you've done this for Dad. And is Lois here?
No, I couldn't get her here.
Okay.
She's very quiet, honestly.
Well, I kind of wanted to apologize for throwing that ringer in it with the different picture.
Well, Sandy had to make it happen.
Oh, Sandy, thank you very
That's what
much.
I'm going to give you. This is,
Yeah,
this is Sandy's original. I had it framed.
Oh.
She signed it. This is for you. So you always have that. But Sandy is the artist. I just had it framed and she
You know
signed it.
you're going to make it tough to talk.
I'm sorry. But it's been, and I'm going to tell you, is Frankie and I talked over this time. Sometimes we choked up together. Right, Frank? We did.
Yes,
Because
you did.
he relayed stories to me about his father that we all did. JR did. Everybody did. And he wouldn't go on vacation because he didn't want to miss a run.
Well, it wasn't that he didn't want to miss one, he wanted to make sure he was here for it if it happened,
You know,
so.
the township was well
Yeah.
covered. So anyway,
Yeah.
but that's for you, that's for me and Sandy, and just so you always have that.
Here we go.
You've never been a loss of words.
That's about ready to say.
There's a first for everything.
I'd like to start with the beginning. And that was 1946. And in 40, that's when Dad opened the garage in Okeana, but Mom and Dad were still living in Miami Town. In February, I was born in November. In February, they moved up here and they were renting an upstairs apartment right in Okeana. And in December, the parsonage burnt at the church. And Venice was the providing fire protection when they could. And in that day and age, by the time help got from that distance, there wasn't anything to help on, really. But Dad's father was the city of Cincinnati fireman, and he kind of had it in his blood. And after that fire, there was a fire at the grocery store in Okeana, and that's pretty much when it was decided they had to do something about it. So Dad and a group of men, they approached the trustees with the idea of a fire department. And what they said was, give them a place to keep the equipment, give them the fuel to operate it, and pay the members of a volunteer fire department $1 a year, which would qualify them for workman's compensation in case someone got hurt. At the end of the year when they got paid, they all endorsed their check and gave it back to the township. So it was a self-funded fire department for years. They raised money any way they could. They started out with a used pump, a ladder, some hose, and what they call a pipe pole. They bought from the Harrison Fire Department. They found a 36 Dodge flatbed pickup, mounted the pump and a tank. They had a fire truck. By the way, the truck didn't even have doors on it. So if you can imagine rolling out of bed in the middle of the night and jumping in a truck to go to a fire in the kind of weather we had, they did that for from 48 to 58, 10 years in that old rig. But they gradually were able to put more equipment together and update, and the biggest problem they had was that there was no official way to notify the fire department. I kind of got ahead of the story. The way a fire would be reported, if someone saw it or knew about it and knew someone they could call. Now, we all had party line phones back then, so if somebody, you didn't know if you could make a call. You didn't know who to call sometimes. A lot of times they just went to the firehouse and blew the siren. Now, response time is the biggest thing you got to beat for firefighting. If you had to stand there and hold your finger on the button for a while the siren blew, you're wasting time. The first improvement they made, they put a timer on the siren. So all you had to do was hit the button, the siren blew itself. Throw up a garage door, there was a little slate blackboard in there. You'd write down where the fire was, and you'd wait for other people to come, and then you could go. Well, that lasted for a while, and they needed the communication, so they got a representative from the Cincinnati Bell to come out and talk to them, and they told them they wanted to put a fire phone system in, and they needed 6 phones. Boy, the rep, he lit up. A private line with 5 extensions. Boy, that's going to make some money. And they told him, no, we don't want a private line and 5 extensions. We want a party line, but we want all the phones. So that's what happened. We had a phone in the firehouse, and the only one you could dial out on. The rest of the phones were incoming only. And at least actually 911, nationwide 911 started in '68. They did this in the early 50s. So Morgan Township had its own 911 in effect. So then later on, they were able to get radio communications, and they started buying things called little radios called plectrons, a receiver that
See if you
was
can motion him
absolutely
to come to the
mute
middle so he's on the camera.
until there was a tone put out to activate them. So that allowed to dispatch people from their home to whatever was going on. People in town, as soon as they got there, they could take the trucks and get on the road because they knew there'd be people there. So there was a big cut in response time, and that's when things started paying off. But it's grown to this. The township just got too big for a volunteer organization to do it, and the township was able to take it over, and they're doing a good job. And it's part of life out here. It's so anyhow, there's a lot of other things that could be told, but just the beginning of it, I think, and the irony of the whole of it is, the parsonage burnt, and 2 buildings were left on that property, what they called a wash house where the laundry was done, and a garage. Mom and Dad bought that piece of property, and we actually moved into the garage and lived in it for 2 years. And then Dad would add a couple of rooms on, and a few years later he'd add another couple, and we gradually got into a full-size house. Leonard Fegley, who was the first assistant chief, owned the grocery store that had the fire. And both of the buildings that burnt was within 100 yards of where the firehouse wound up being. So you never know. But either way, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Frankie.
And I'll let the trustees talk just a minute. One thing I did forget is when we leave this world in life, we have 2 things: the children we raised and our reputation. And I think Chief Tompkins hit both of them A+.
Joe, do you mind if I say something about Frank?
Hey, we can do Phil Donahue. Phil Donahue. Oh my gosh. Jerry.
No,
I wasn't here when this happened, but everybody told me about the bank robbery in Okeana on Christmas Eve, and when the lady in the Cadillac from Shandon robbed the bank. Sue said first robbery they had, they didn't. So Henrietta and Sue and Linda Hacker were working there at the time. She came in. Jacqueline came in with her gun drawn and told them to give her all the money. So they thought, what should we do? So one of them got on the phone to Frank to report that the bank had been robbed because Citizens Bank had just bought the bank from the Wagner family. They didn't have any alarms in the bank at the time. So one of them went to the back window, got a description of the car, which way the car went. Somebody was on the phone to Frank. Frank radioed the sheriff about the robbery. They caught her within a couple hours, wasn't it, Frankie? In Fernald, yeah. Had the money in the car. She never spent a night in jail, and needless to say, Sue was very upset with the justice system and told them that every time she got called for jury duty. Thank God I wasn't there, but I heard that story. As long as I worked with Sue, I heard that story around Christmas time about the bank robbery. So they were our security system.
I like to have been here during the rough and tumble days. Okay, Board of Trustees.
anybody else want to say anything? I mean, I just want to say that that fire department here at Morgan's the only fire department I ever knew. They was here before I was here, and I've been here a long time. And they've taken care of my family and my friends' families, and without them, I mean, you wouldn't have insurance, you wouldn't have houses. I mean, they were top notch. Even back then, you know, like you say, we were volunteer up until about 10 years ago or 20, and you can't say enough. They're the old fire carnivals. A lot of you remember that. That's where they used to raise money. Was they had fire carnivals down at Wurzelbacher Ball Field, and I think they first started out Carroll Woods, but then they went to Wurzelbacher Ball Field, and they raised money every year. That and a fish fry. You know, those guys. I mean, it just wasn't go to work, you know, and get our paycheck. It was help raise money. You know, help buy a new truck. Well, we never did buy any new ones, but we got the best we could afford at the time. You want to say something, Frank? Yeah.
I just remembered something that Dad
Yeah.
would never forgive me for not mentioning. The ladies auxiliary.
Yeah.
Township as the first ambulance in the county. It was ran by the government.
It was what, JR?
Back in the day, Charlie Gunn, which, as we talked about response time,
Yeah, yeah.
if you needed an ambulance, you called, you got a hold of Charlie at the funeral home, whatever, and he was available, we came.
Yes.
But then, the guy with the vision decided we'd have the first ambulance too, and Charlie donated it.
I'm sure.
That's how that took off. We had one before Hamilton. Morgan Township had the first one, Butler County.
That's a,
First new vehicle they bought was a 65 Ford pickup truck, four-wheel drive, and for grass fires. Primarily grass, that was the idea, because we had a lot of them with the railroad run. Actually, I saw the 1971 year-end report. We had 61 fires and 61 life squad runs and 58 fires in 71.
61 fires, was that,
61
Jeff, was that amount to today? Not nearly.
No.
Yeah.
No, we'd be like if we have 3 a year now.
You guys did more with less.
I'm just saying it's a fact. We'd be lucky 3 or 4. I mean, they
Yeah.
used to say this place looked like a crater for all the fires that happened in Morgan Township. But, you know, as you do fire improvement, safety, better construction, fire code, you'd hope you burn less. Now it's mostly EMS. So that life squad that they started has been very important to the residents of Morgan Township because about 94% are EMS runs.
Yes, yeah, today.
They also put a generator on that truck for a light plant, and it was the first one in the county.
Was it white?
It was like, actually, we went white with the
That ain't the one we just had here a few years ago.
No.
Was it? Oh, okay. I was gonna say it.
Yeah, it was the only one in the county, and it was set up, there was telescopic poles in the racks that would come up with big lights on them.
Yeah.
It was dark out there, we didn't have street lights or outdoor lighting or nothing. And it was used in auto accidents and all the fires that went there too, and you could even have lighting inside of a building that was dark, you know, the fire. So, I mean, they really, as a department, it was very motivated to get better on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Learn something from every run.
What was that?
Build a mobile cascade unit in our cast truck.
Yeah?
And it was one of the only vehicles in the county that could just go on site to any other department or jurisdiction and fill their air bottles on site for them.
Wow.
That was the captain.
Well, you made us proud, that's for sure. You know, from Frankie on up today. I mean, we got a great fire department today. You know, the guys that worked here today, and like you said, you need to hear a story about the past, because without them we wouldn't be here. So,
I can give you one more little humorous story.
okay.
Also Lenore,
You usually got to tell one, Frank. I didn't think you'd get by without it.
Static fire on Weaver Road.
Okay.
Leonard Begley was on the ladder up about this high in the attic. Lenore's father-in-law was on the ladder below him. Leonard took his glasses off, they steamed up and handed them down to Art and said, "Wipe these off for me, Art." He wiped them off and put them back on his head. He had to do it again. Third time he handed them down, he looked at Art and he said, "Why aren't your glasses steaming up?" And with that, the screen hit the roof, ricocheted back, hit Art right in the face. He was wearing rims with no glasses in.
Yeah, I'm sure there's.
He rolled out of bed,
Yeah, Neil.
grabbed a pair of empty
Take him. Neil.
Oh, you want Mike? You
I
sure?
can't hear him. Oh, go ahead.
Was carnival for many, many years,
Yes.
and the Historical Society in June on the third Saturday found an old timer that's gonna tell about the carnival. So if you're looking for something to do, be sure to be there, and, like I said, we'll put some stories.
All right. Thanks, Neil. All righty.
We have cake.
You wanna? Yeah, we'll
Break for a little cake?
Little break here. And there's cake and drinks up here for anybody who wants to. And
Hey, Daryl, real quick, could we,
Frankie there. Thank you.
Daryl, real quick, before we do that, could we get all the family to come up
Yeah.
to get a picture with this? Judy, your kids, and
This is our official photographer too.
You say cheese?
Frank, you're not smiling yet. I thought we'd give these guys a hand. I've got one more thing. If you've lived around here all your life, you know we've got landmarks. Like the hill going down, this hill over here going down, that's the Arman's Hill because of the Arman farm is across the road over there. Going down the hill toward Shandon is Ruggles Hill. You're going south on California Road from Macedonia Church, the long hill going, that's Sawmill Hill. There was a sawmill at the top and the bottom. Going out of Okeana, on Okeana Drewsburg and winding up, is Librooks Hill. Pat eats breakfast with us on Friday morning. He come in one morning. He said he was looking up an address on Google, or what was the map? Google Maps, the address of a neighbor of his up there. And he said, "What is Live Rock Hill?" It's on the map. Yeah. So, but that led to the problem when we started getting new people that had moved into the community that was involved in the fire department. They didn't know anything about these things, and a lot of times when we would dispatch, we'd say, "Well, you know, it's a wreck at the watering trough in Shandon." Well, where's the watering trough? Well, that's just the other side of Shandon before you get to Morgan Ross Road. One day there was a run to Harry Heiler's house in Shandon. Dad, the ambulance needed at Harry Heiler's. And it wasn't long, there was people in the driveway saying, "Who in the hell is Harry Heiler?" They didn't know where to go. That's it.
All right, folks, come on up.
Smile.
You're here. All right, we're going to bring the meeting back into order at 7:45. All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay, who's the fire department?
I guess that's me.
Captain Don? All right. Hans, here we go.
Can you hear me okay? Good.
Yep, we got you.
Okay, fire chief's report here tonight is revolving a little bit around the HVAC system that we're having in the firehouse. Been having a lot of problems with lines freezing up, so forth. Valentino's has been out to assess the situation and hopefully knows something here in the next few weeks. The building has not lost heat, but the lines continue to freeze and moisture coming through the ceiling tiles. And those lines are the condensate lines that pull the water off and put it to a different section. It's not the supply water. So-
Excuse me, Jeff, is this lines that have not been insulated? Because he's been working on them.
He's been working on it. This was the lowest price option, and according to Jeff Maddox, they're fine tuning that.
Mhm.
Kind of see where it did. The good thing was apparently they never lost heat this time.
Right.
The bad thing, so they're making progress. And Jeff said he went, now that he saw where they happened, they put more insulation in those areas and hoping that that will solve it.
Okay.
So it's, he's trying, like he said, this is my tax dollars too, so he's trying to do it incrementally too. But they came right out, the polls, they had thousands of service calls and we were hosed. But it did freeze, but it did not provide heat.
Right.
this time.
I mean, it could get colder longer too. I mean,
Yeah,
this
so-
winter ain't close to being over,
No,
so.
It's
yeah.
when it's 5 and below and 10.
Yeah.
And it's really cold and that's uninsulated, so they're fine tuning the insulation.
Okay.
Okay. We have the officers working on projects and budgetary needs for 2024, having them outline what we need to do for this year, what their goals are, what their ambitions are for accomplishing for 2024. Our first quarter officer meeting is going to be February 7th, where we're going to be talking through some of this stuff. We continue to look for grants and for turnout gear and equipment and all sorts of other grant opportunities. So trying to offset some costs. So at number 3 here, I need a resolution for Richard Simmons to receive his 1-year anniversary pay increase of 30 cents, bringing his hourly salary to $19.30. That will be effective February 4th with the next pay period.
So moved.
Second?
Tom?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Darrell, yes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Was the park department, were we gonna say anything?
Sandy's gonna get it.
Sandy? Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's not on the thing. Go ahead, Sandy. We'll go to the parks.
Sorry, I already removed it.
That's okay. Okay, for those that don't know me, I'm Sandy Tyler. I'm chair of the park board. Not really a whole lot to update at the moment, but the playground is down the street at Diamond Heavy Hall. And I guess we're just waiting for finalizing the construction documents and everything, so we can get everything, timing figured out for construction. And since we've been operating without board meetings, we kind of figured maybe we need to dissolve the park board, just have like an executive committee or something with the chairman and myself and with Chief Griffith to report directly to you, which is what we've been doing for a while now anyway, it seems. So if you wouldn't mind, we could just vote on that and then figure out our next steps forward.
Okay.
So you haven't had a meeting per se for like 7 or 8 months, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But we've been constantly in discussions, and I'm sure you've seen the emails, and we're regularly reporting with Trustee Cole and with Chief.
I know we talked about this several months ago, but we tabled the issue.
Okay.
We tabled the issue for further consideration, and it's ideal that you came and brought this back up, but based on your recommendation is really how we will proceed. So I hear a motion, and I'll make the motion to consider termination of the park board per Sandy's request as the chairman of the park board. And if we need it, or if we want to go back and reinstitute it or reconfigure it in any way that supports the chairman and the co-chair and the township, obviously we have that possibility. So I'll go ahead and make that motion.
That's to dissolve the park board right now, right?
Yeah.
Park Advisory Board.
Okay.
Chief, do you want to say any words about your
There's
concept?
no sense in calling people together for a meeting when there's nothing to vote on. It's, you know, the old saying in the government was, don't have a meeting when the email will suffice. And this is mostly email traffic, and there's no issues to vote on, and I don't see any issues in the future to vote on, so there's no sense meeting just to say the playground's gonna be built.
And I think, yeah, and the board has been intact for almost, what, a year?
Longer than that.
Like 2 years.
It'll
Yeah.
be 2 years in April.
2 years, wow.
But
So,
the heavy work is done, and the long-term plan is done, everything is finished, there's nothing to vote on.
right.
There's no sense in waste, you know, we appreciate everybody's input, but there's nothing to do.
and we do thank all the members that were on that board, and we do have a recognition plaque that's in production that will recognize each one of the board members and the chair and the co-chair and the great work that you guys have done to bring it all to this point. So I think we've got a motion on the floor, and I think we've had do we have a second?
Need a second? I'll second it.
Okay.
Jeff?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Tom?
Yes.
Motion
So,
passed.
motion moved.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thanks, Sandy.
Thanks, Ann. Okay, road department. Rob?
First thing I was asking for is a PO for $16,500 to DJ&L Material for crack sealing roads in the springtime as soon as the weather warms up.
So when will you get the material then? You're just getting the PO now to,
I'm just getting a PO now, but probably it'd be middle of March, 1st of April before the material comes.
How long will that last? Will that last through the spring season into the summer, or what's that timeline for that?
It just depends on how fast we can get it down. I mean, but that's basically 16,500 is 6 pallets of crack sealing material, 1 pallet of what they call a fibered filler, and that fibered filler is when you have great big wide cracks, you put another block or 2 in the pot with the tar to make it fill up the hole so it doesn't run away as much. And then 10 gallons of spray, the spray so when you first put it down, if cars drive over, it doesn't pick it up on their tires and stuff. Normally we only use that when it gets really hot. Like if we're starting in April when it's cooler and stuff, the tar cools pretty quick and we don't have an issue with cars picking it up. But we get into May or June, if we're still crack sealing in, which I'm hoping that April and May I can get most of all our crack sealing done, because we have a bunch to do on Bell Road, Shawling Road, and then wherever else if we still have some left, we'll go to others, but those are my 2 main roads.
Okay. If you do a cutout, do you use this material if you do
No,
a
this is
cutout?
strictly for
Seal cracks?
longitudinal and
Okay.
cracks in the roadway.
Okay, so moved.
second.
Who made the motion?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Jeff? Tom?
Yes?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Second thing, we had a burial in Scipio Cemetery. With the cold weather and stuff, everything went very well. Got everything situated. The family seems to be pleased with everything, so that all went well. As you well know, we've had to do a lot of salting and plowing the past week and a half. We've had everything from water main breaks causing ice patches in the road that we had to take care of to snow squalls and blowing and drifting snow. So, and then the other thing is the new ceiling tile in this room here is completed. This is all done, made it look a whole lot better than what it was when we started. So, And that's all I have, unless anybody has questions for me.
No, accolades to the road crew I was not here, but I was getting text messages and a couple of emails about how great the roads were compared to other parts of the county and even Hamilton County. So I was 1,000 miles away in Florida, and it wasn't beautiful weather, so it was terrible. It only got up to 65. But
Terrible.
accolades, you guys, you do a great job.
And especially Rob on the ceiling too. That the road department did the whole ceiling work in here, so that it really does look great.
Yeah, saves a lot of money, that's for sure.
Yeah, we needed something to do, so. we
That
got
worked
that
out,
done.
yeah.
It worked great.
Yeah.
Mark and I did most of it, and then the last day Sean was here with us, the last day and a half of doing this.
Okay. All right, you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Zoning, Dale?
Yes, sir. Well, as you'll see on your little sheet of paper, and I can't understand why in the heck it ended up in the center of the paper, there are only 2 certificates that have been approved for the new year through today, okay? One of them is the violation one, the other one is, you can read there on the paper. The February meeting of the zoning commission has been rescheduled for February the 13th, 2014, due to me attending the OTA winter conference the week before. The expecting of a zoning change application has not arrived. That is still in works. There is some consideration around the fact that the piece of property may or may not be able to have a septic system for what the person wants to do. It's kind of an interesting situation. I've been in conversations with the health department, Bert Kilhofer, in this situation.
Is there any septic system there?
As far as I know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask the audience because I think this person might know. I'm referring to the old general store. The yellow? Yeah, the Morgan store or the general store. Did it ever have a septic system?
There is the post office and the store both have indoor and a bathroom. I think they have a septic system. Yeah, I believe they did have septic systems. I know they had bathrooms.
Okay, well, that's the idea behind it, what's going on with it. We just need to confirm, the gentleman, he's in a contract contingent upon, one, the zoning change, and then also, in my position, whether or not he can have good septic and what he needs to do, okay? Because what he wants to do with the building is to turn it into 2 apartments, two-bedroom apartments. So it's gotta have a pretty hefty septic system according to today's world. Running water is easy, but it's the septic piece. Yeah.
I wouldn't take our memory or that. Absolutely, but I do believe they did have septic, but
Well, he's been asked by the health department to go and see if it does. In other words, he's got to put out some money to check to see if there is one, because the health department doesn't have the records for it.
well, that's not uncommon.
Right, but given the time when it was built and what it may have changed over, I understand that, and everything else. So that's where that's at, okay? Just to let you know. Pretty interesting in the fact that I really am not pushing it, I'm kind of understanding it, but I would like to see things in Okeana that are not being used, be used, and everything else. So it would go from what is currently a B3, because it was a former business, down to a R2, an R3, which is a multi-unit piece of property in that respect, because he's going to do 2 apartments.
Gail, I'm gonna bet if there is a septic system there, it's probably a very small one, because there were only 2 or 3 people who worked at the store and a couple people
Right.
at the post office, so I'm judging probably the county wouldn't have made them put in anything enormous, and what's there certainly wouldn't cover what that guy wants. I would say it's not sufficient.
Yeah,
Down in the bottom, it'd have to be down the bottom of that parking lot.
Yeah.
That's no place to-
It looks like they'd have some kind of drawing, no, Dale, up there.
no, not at the time when it was probably put in, because the health department has lost, they've filed all their records and everything else. It's even hard today sometimes to even get a new construction placement.
Okay.
All right, it's not that I'm trying to fall you down on that, but it is very difficult. Okay.
Right.
All right, 2795 Chapel Road complied, filed and received an approved zoning certificate for the fence. But today I received a call from a neighbor about 4063 Can Run, stating that the owners were building a fence. I checked, and they have not applied for a zoning certificate. The letter will go out tomorrow, because I took the letter that I wrote to 2795, made the changes I needed to, and have a letter going out tomorrow for that. The BZA, the annual BZA meeting was held as a business meeting, was held on Thursday, January the 18th, 2024. Steve Grody remains chair, and so does Mr. Griffith in his position as vice chair. As per the board's desire, meetings are on an as-needed basis. They're still kind of reluctant to put dates out there that they want. They just wait to see if things come up. The next thing is I'm going to be asking for all of the zoning regulation notebooks to be brought to me over the next week, over the next month, because I will be reprinting the entire regulations just like I did before. Only this time, I want your notebooks, so that I put it in and put it in the order that it goes in for everybody to keep it. I'll keep you as organized as possible, okay? Then I will submit, this will take in all of the changes that were made in 2023, along also adding the solar chapter and everything else. And then I will be filing that with the recorder's office as requested in the letter that they always send out in January. And an electronic version, of course, will be placed on the web.
Okay.
And that's all I've got, unless you got something for me, or know
Okay,
of something.
No. Got nothing. Okay,
I don't have anything tonight, Darrell.
please.
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay, Tina doesn't either, so Jeff has nothing. Tom?
I just wanted to, Neil, I gave you the handout. Have you all had a chance to read the email explaining the situation that I gave you? Yeah, come on up.
Yeah.
Okay, as you know, we talked about this at the last meeting. The alarm system, well, I'll start it with Alta Fiber. They are doing away with the analog phone lines down in that area, and they're going with fiber optics. And the security system that we currently, or you guys pay for the security system. The security system monitoring company is Middletown Security Systems, and their system will not work with fiber optic phone line. They work on analog, but they can install a cellular connection card and make it work. There is a cost of $180 to do that. So there is a $25 a month charge for monitoring that you are currently paying this company. After installing the cellular connection, paying the $180 one-time charge for the installation, there will be an additional $12 per month charge to pay for the cellular service, making the new total that, if we go this route, would be $37 for the Historical Society. This upgrade would remove the need for a physical landline in the 1858 building. However, Neil went back to his board and they want to keep a landline in that phone in the building. So there's another option that we got. We could migrate the phone number that they currently have. It's an Alta Fiber. We can port that to a Vonage phone, and it'll be a virtual extension. The residents could call the number and it forwards the call to another number like Neil's. If he doesn't answer, they can leave a message and then they can retrieve the message at a later date. We could also configure this so that they can hear a message and then choose who to be redirected to, similar to the firehouse. They call one number and it'll be like a menu. Press 1 to book a tour, and that call would be redirected to Joe Evans. Press 2 for the president, and that would redirect it to Neil. The cost for this would be $15 per month. This would be there would be a one-time charge to Oxford Computer Solutions of $50 to migrate the number to Vonage and configure the call routing. Another option would be convert the line from analog to digital on Alta Fiber. Alta Fiber would upgrade the service free of charge and run the new cabling into the 1858 building. The existing phone and answering machine in the back room would continue to operate as they do today. The line continues to be a month to month, and we're not under any contract, so the price could change without notice. So the townships in our agreement that we have with the Historical Society is we are responsible for providing a phone line, and the Historical Society is responsible for the security system.
Right.
So the whole issue, I think, came down to Go ahead, I'll let you talk.
Well, I met with Chris
Yep.
Wednesday night, and basically what we need at the museum, I think we came to pretty much of an agreement. Obviously we have to have security, and so that $25 that we've been paying, we still interested in. As far as having a phone physically sitting in there, we don't need that. He said we could get this cell system in. It's not a phone, but it's a cell, whatever it is. And if they call, just like you explained, we could have a recorded message where if they wanted something about the museum, they could call Jill, and they want to know something about the Historical Society or plans, they could call me. And he also said it would be possible that they could actually leave a message, and it would be on an email system that we could get set to one of our computers. We could live with that.
Okay.
The thing that, when I sent the message out to my board members, the finances on who's going to pay what for this installation, that's the only questions I got. As far as what we need, what Chris was explaining to me, we could have exactly what we have now. It may even be a little bit even better.
Right.
And we wouldn't, that would be fine. It's just who's paying what and where. Because as you said, with the phone, that extra $12 a month that we'd have to pay the security, I assume would be part of the phone system, and the township would pick that up. But,
Right now,
That's the questions
our what we pay every month for Alta Fiber, as it is today, is $32 a month. You pay $25 for monitoring.
right.
So there's an additional $12 for the monthly monitoring. However, we got an option with that. If we don't use Alta Fiber and we go to Vonage, okay, like we talked about, and having the press 1 for tours, press 2 for president, and they can leave a message too. That would be $15 a month for Alta Fiber. If we pick up the $12, the additional cost, so you would still pay $25 for monitoring, we would pick up the extra $12. We would go to $27, so we would be saving $5. You would stay the same. The question now is who pays the $180 for this connector box?
Right. And I sent a message out to the board. I think our board would be willing to split that with you.
I think that's fair. What's the rest of the boards? I think that would be fair. And then everything would stay the same. We would save a little bit, you would stay the same.
We'd keep paying the $25 a month for to have the security. And like you say, we would pay half of the.
So we would pay 90, you would pay 90 of this, and
We can do
then
that.
everything would stay the same for you monthly, and we would actually save $5 a month.
that would be, I could get that through easy.
Okay. We okay with that, or you
Yeah,
wanted more
no.
discussion?
You want to make that a motion?
Sounds good.
I'll make a motion that we'll go with option number 1, which will migrate the phone number to Vonage to a virtual extension, as I described. That would be a cost of $15 a month. The township would pick up the extra $12 from the monitoring system, which would be Middletown Security System. So our monthly bill would be $27. The Historical Society would stay at $25. And the initial cost to install this cellular connection would be $180. We'll split that, $90 for the township and $90 for the Historical Society. Fair?
And I will second.
Okay.
All right, motion's been made on the floor. Tom,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
and Daryl, yes. Motion
All right.
approved. All right, that's it? Okay.
You want to do audience first, and then we can go into
Yeah, you wanna go
executive?
the audience first?
Yep.
Yep. All right. We're going to the audience before we go into executive session, so you people don't have to wait around. So anybody got anything from the audience today?
Joey, got anything to say?
Guess we're not
He
waiting.
was talking earlier. Heard my,
Kangaroo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
we got a real kangaroo court here.
Okay. He's got nothing to say, right? Okay. All right, there's nothing from the audience today. We're going to go into executive session. Personnel matters with the fire department.
Nope, read the card. Read the card.
Please, yep.
Point of order.
Let me see, which one here? We're going to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, and consider.
That's it.
That's
Yeah,
it.
That's it. Okay.
Second.
Second?
Yeah. We got Tom second.
You,
I'll do the roll.
I made the motion.
Okay. Daryl.
I don't know if I make my own, but, okay, yes.
Tom.
Me, yes.
Yes.
Tom?
Jeff,
Mr. Cole.
yes.
We're, okay,
Okay.
going to executive session at 8:12.
Okay.
Jeff, you want to go back there with them? What's up?
Here's the kangaroo money. Here's the kangaroo
So you didn't just have your truck in the barn? I thought that's why I didn't see your truck when I was out there.
My truck is, Dalton bought it.
Yeah, we sold the truck and we bought a
Sold
new
the
truck.
Leased the new one.
Yeah.
And it's still in Texas.
We were promised.
It was supposed to have been picked up twice last week, and then please fix it up. Oh.
And we can't get there to get it. Well, no, they got there.
Cause I was like,
Oh my
how
gosh,
does
they
his
got
truck
there.
rate get put in the barn, her car has to sit out?
Like,
and stuff?
exactly, right?
It used to be that way,
It
so I
did
didn't
used to
have
be
to
that
unload it at night.
Yeah, we did do that. But no.
Now my kid's car's in the barn.
Yeah. Look out, and I knew she was running, supposed to look behind me. It's pretty hard to find a camel train there. And I just plugged in, just set the water bucket down, and got myself to the side, like, there you go. There it is, Bruce, like a dead. Now, the other one, Clay, he should. Right. The other one was like younger?
Yeah, she's only a year old.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So it must be like a puppy or a kitten. Yeah. Maybe. He's got that puppy and. I don't know if the females are more interactive than the males are, because he was just laid back.
When he was 18, no, he, every now and then he do crazy things.
Okay. What's crazy camel?
We call it crazy camel. Whoever.
I'm like, yes and yes, because it was under Crazy Acres Farm. I said, yes and yes. Two yes.
Well, the Sue I was talking about, was the good one down in Cincinnati Zoo. Her mom, her, and me. Hotter than hell. It was like 100-degree. I mean, it was blazing hot. Oh my God. And so she's doing Campbell. Oh gosh. I'm going to hide. I don't want anybody to know that I'm related to her. So we kind of go behind the Scooby-Doo signs over there. And then they get to her, and the guy says, somebody, he thought she was with some children. She says, I want to ride the camel. Is that okay? And the kid kind of looked at me and said, well, I guess so. So they had this squirt water bottle, and they were squirting the camel's knees. And Thelma had some dry oh my God. She looked at me and she's like, you're going to need to squirt more in his knees when she gets off. I almost lost it. And Sue wanted to make sure we got a picture of her on the camel. Thelma's like, they're going to need to squirt more in his knees when she gets off. Like, oh.
Thelma was a riot.
If she was still alive, she'd be over at your house at least once a week
Yeah,
to see
she
the
would.
camel.
She
Oh my
would.
God. She always wanted one. She had a couple of goats, and when we go to the fair to bid on the junior livestock sale, she'd never buy a goat. Wouldn't buy a goat because she knew they were going to be butchered. Some of the packers wouldn't buy a goat. So she could stand sausage, cows, hogs, they were fine. I go real my best.
Yeah, they, Barrington's got it, it's one of those, it's the one that has all the bells and whistles on it. Oh, okay. And it discharges into a mountain, but you don't have to have a physical mountain, or a system. Still a mountain. So it does most of it. No, but I haven't given them the phone, it's still somebody is there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I think
I don't think that guy's gonna be able to get one down there.
No.
Oh, you can get one.
Well,
The cost?
the cost,
We're that small, but spot. Your cost is gonna go through the roof.
because we know where my leach line is out there below the septic, and that was for a 2-bedroom house. He doesn't have room for a 4-bedroom. Because in front of the bank, septic system and leach line, but there cannot be more than 100 feet of leach line if there's that much in with that house. Cause there's just nowhere to put it, right? They own those parcels there, there's nowhere to put it.
Going down here, it's not worried about
And I can remember Charlotte Lehman's dad, who wanted to put a bathroom in his house, him and his wife. There was nowhere to put it. And the the guy that ran that plumbing section, he said to him, well, I really should be just, Dick and his wife heard like, he said, go over there, put it, but get in the 100 feet, it'll be fine, cause it's over. And then that house sold, and I don't know what those people had to do, because, I mean, it was for an old couple, that didn't use much water, you know. And I don't know what happened after that, but there was nowhere to put it, and Ford had the same problem, but he got leaks, he put bathroom.
all of those buildings down through that side that, if something happened at this point in time, they have to have it rebuilt and everything else.
And I'm sure that
You go across the road.
there can't be more, because there, like I said, there were 2 or 3 people at the store, maybe, Merle, and maybe 2 other people, 1 or 2 people at the post office, so they probably just told them to put in a couple 100 feet and call it good. And it was it's gravel ground down there, right?
Oh, yeah, it's good gravel.
I mean, they'll leach good.
You go down about 2 feet in my yard,
Yeah.
it's nothing but gravel.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's, but in order to redo it and to put, I don't think I would doubt it's gonna be possible.
It's in the, guys, the guy knows to do it.
Yeah, figure it out,
Figure it out, because otherwise, I mean,
there may be some fancy system out there, like you said, it's gonna cost the earth and the moon.
Oh, yeah,
It won't be cheap. No.
That's the first service.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to find out, you put it on the website.
I didn't do it well enough?
There you go, some icing on there.
I'm there.
do you do windows?
I'm saying marinade.
Yes, he does.
You know what? Yes, I do windows. Once a month.
Once a month, wow. Look at her. I see a kangaroo in your features, man.
I don't.
You just got the one kangaroo? You got two kangaroos.
We have coffee at home.
Poppy and Tom. Is this Joey or?
That's Joey.
Joey. Joey and Poppy.
Coffee is, he's in twenty-four. Maybe a little bit more. He stands all the way up.
He stands all the way up.
He's probably about,
He's the one that looks like a Hulk.
he's about.
He's
probably
Easter
about
bread.
2
They
and
don't
a
get that
half,
big.
3 years
One
old.
Okay. Because I've seen,
Nobody works with him.
I've seen like on the Animal Planet, the zoo,
Yeah,
they had
so
one in the
Roger, that
animal
one that's
ambassador
famous
program,
on
that somebody
YouTube and all that,
actually
one.
bought this kangaroo
He's
online or
rich.
something, and they
So
confiscated
he'll
it
get
because I guess it's
somewhere
in
between 5 and
New
6
York,
feet,
you might
anywhere
have
from
a
120
animal
to
diet, so-
180.
So they had the kangaroo there at the zoo, and it was an ambassador.
No, that's why we're doing what we're doing. That,
They had two
the older
devil
one we
tigers
have,
out of another one.
Right.
we got him
Red
older, so
kangaroo?
That's what he is.
he's never been
Red
really
kangaroo,
The one I
socialized.
got at home.
So he'll kick the shit out of her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's
this
already
is-
bruised her
This
leg.
is the biggest,
Oh, wow.
So she knows
How old is this one?
8 months.
her
Oh,
boundaries with that.
she got some rolling.
But, I mean, I'll go in there, he won't do nothing. He'll lose her.
But I probably won't let him.
So he,
I'll probably
so very well let you get.
I can hear it and I just go home.
No,
Talk to him.
he's not.
It's
No,
not
it's
like,
nothing like that.
I don't know.
No, he's nothing like that.
So you're just going and giving this food and
Yeah, pretty much.
talk to him and say, see you, buddy.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was video
He'll come to me
my
through the
grandson and my
fence,
son.
because right now he's in the garage and we got
I told him, I
10 by
said,
10
I know a lady
dog
who
area in
has a
there
big
for him.
kangaroo, and he's like,
fine.
yeah.
And,
And I'm like, no,
he'll come over to the
seriously.
fence, he'll nip the other one over.
And I
So the new barn was built up front. That's where they're all going. We're all gonna be up there eventually.
Mom,
Yeah,
seriously.
well, the boxes are out there now.
You were just.
And the water buffalo and the eland are out there
Well,
on the
maybe
old
you can
property.
come to Ohio
Where
and
I
I'll
got it all
take you over
fenced in.
there.
That's where they're all at.
So, you may be the draw to get
I mean,
something.
that back part of that barn is 15 by 30, and that's all theirs.
I saw your
So we
video.
got hay and stuff in there. We keep them out of the wind, so they all lay there together. There's 3 of them. Plus the eagle.
I saw that.
And the eland is the largest member of the animal family. Yeah. Eland. Yeah, so he's gonna get huge. So basically, he's gonna be the size of a cow, but with 9 humps straight up. And then, so those are all out front. And then we got the sloth room built down there, and our good Monday room's built down there. And I was waiting on Butler to come down tomorrow to tell me what I need to do for electric.
You tried too.
I don't know if I wanna run a new service there, or if they wanna run it on our house.
He's still honoring that. You just said.
They made it fun.
Yeah.
Once that part gets done, then we'll finish the electric connection. It'll be all done to the heat. Very good. But the inside of it looks like an old. I think we can do this. Have you seen the outside of it? Yeah. Stone metal. So that's what the inside looks like. All barn was completely all air. I mean, there's not a piece of metal showing in that barn. Yeah, so we got 3 stalls on one side. We got a wall on the back. It's all wood all the way around inside, it's insulated. The sloth room is a 13 by 10, and it's got wood on both sides, and it's insulated. And then, yeah, so it's pretty neat. Plus, you got ceiling in it. So, when you walk in there, you're like, what? The outside is metal. Really? You walk in there, you're thinking you walked into an old barn. It's all solid. There's a place down in Falmouth, Kentucky. So basically, they're 1 by 6, but they're irregulars. They're the ones that they can't make wood out of. So I got it like, I got a whole trailer that's $900. And that was enough to do everything in there. So yeah, everything right up. Yeah, let's stop by sometime. You can see it. Yeah. Found a little bit of snow we had, on purpose, so ran across the concrete driveway down there, and like this part out of me. Get all those stuff. Yeah, I was so on the big old park right across. They do that. If you look, you can see where I was like, as soon as they got past the mailbox. You could see the flames there, I'm like, oh, that doesn't look obvious enough. But I had to miss the mailbox, I didn't want to take out the mailbox. As soon as I got back. Yeah, they put their asphalt aprons that come out, you don't even, it doesn't even make a bump. Really? I'm like, that works, because that's what I was trying to see if they made a bump.
they had not seen the 932, I was like, oh,
I
that's
never
what I'm
go
saying.
16 hours,
She,
because if I go
she
16
said,
hours,
she's not
I have to be off for 8,
both of
can't
them
even be
called
on
off
site.
sick. And I didn't know who,
Well,
so
that
I
never works.
did my banking over it.
What we do
And I
is
said
we
it
try to
said
do
it
it
went
about
over.
12, maybe
And
14,
she said, Phoebe,
and clock out.
Yep, I was a little
Try to
surprised
make
too,
it
I
so
looked
like
at, and he
midnight,
usually does
3
my
a.m.
notary, that's the,
Where either to go home and
And
get some
so,
sleep, or
Billy
if I
went
got
over
some
there.
time here, I'll just sleep in my shop here from midnight to 3, and then get back up and start out again. So that's rough when you only do 200 hours of sleep. That takes a whole week. Like I'm still trying to catch up from last weekend. Because Mark and I, well, on Thursday night, I left work early and went home, went to bed at 5:30. Because we were going to meet at midnight. Right. Well, you get all hyped and stuff, and I'm laying there, and I shut all the phones off, I shut the TVs off. My wife was stuff her mom and dad's, mother-in-law had her new operated on, so I ended up there tending to her, so nobody would bug me, but I'm just sitting like, open my eyes, look around, and just my anxiety was just through the roof. So I never really got to sleep any, so I got up at midnight, we go all night long. About 6:30 or something, I was like, oh shit, yeah, this isn't good. So I pull over, put my head down for about 5 minutes, I hear a car go past me, I come like, well, this ain't good, they see me if you're sleeping. But I've probably been stopped about 5 minutes. So I'm like, gotta go. Go again, make it to the end of the road. So about 15, 20 minutes of that head bob and stuff, and finally I'm like, all right, get back to the shop. So it took me another half an hour to get to the shop because I had to keep stopping every time my head bobbed. I would pull off the side of the road. Sit there for a few minutes, all right, go a little bit more. As soon as I start feeling that, I stop, put my head down for a minute. Like I said, it took a half hour to get back to the shop. Got back to the shop, reloaded, had another cup of coffee, and was like, all right, I'm ready to go again.
That caffeine infusion.
All I needed was another cup of coffee. I was out of my coffee.
You guys think we'll get anything tonight or tomorrow morning?
I'm gonna wait another 5 minutes, and I'm going home, because we're gonna be back, Mark and I are gonna be back here 2 a.m. So they're saying 3 is when it's supposed to start raining. I'm hoping that with that sun being up as long as it did, it warmed it up enough that it melted some of it, so it's not quite as cold as it was. But it's still, it's got a pretty good frost in there. So, and
It's still pretty nice.
I didn't wanna go and put salt down too early, because if you do that, then traffic runs all off the road, and you don't have it, and you wasted it. So wait till an hour before it's supposed to start raining, we're gonna go out and pre-treat everything. Hopefully it'll all be for nothing, or where it need to, but
Last week, no free salt in the road, and the parts were all behind it was all full. Like, I don't know what they're doing, wasting the money.
because literally, if you go, like say if I was going at 4 o'clock and solved the road, by 9 o'clock, with everybody coming home from work, where the tires went, they worked it all off to the side of the road. So so wait till right before it, because if I can get in, when it starts to rain, it'll make like a salt brine, and it'll spread the whole road, and won't let it.
Especially if you do it at 2 a.m. and you're in traffic on the road.
There's nobody out doing it.
Hey, I
Nobody.
went to the airport last February at like 2:30 in the morning. I didn't see a car until I got almost to the airport, and I went through Harrison. Yeah.
Thursday night, well, actually it was Friday morning, the last car I seen was at 1:30 in the morning, and I seen him on race lane. And I went over everything a couple times. I didn't start seeing anybody again until probably 4:30. That's when I started seeing people again. So from 1:30 to 4:30, there was nobody out there. It's like, where did everybody go? And then 6:30, here they all come. Headlights everywhere. And then when it gets daylight, you're trying to clean an intersection, they sneak up on you, you can't see them because it's daylight. It's like,
almost coming up behind you, you know, in the daytime, then I got too far over on one road and I hit a tree and it knocked my mirror back. But when you're by yourself, you can't adjust the mirror. It's pretty hard. I mean, you could do it, but it's a lot in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out.
I probably that, I was back in the house, got real in the rock and was a little slow go with the rock. But when I hit him on his head, and I was like, Rob, you need to get it. And I'm like, nah, I wouldn't go very far. He laughed at me. You know, our parking lot
Well,
was
it's
cleaner than the road.
It's 39 out still, so. That's good. I'm gonna stay here, but, purple all north of Indianapolis.
Yep, we can use it. Not the hours. No, we will need a water. Yeah, we need a water. I know, I was take the water. I just need a water.
Yeah, it's still going up and over.
Well, I mean, the ones downstairs, other than Indianapolis, it's 8 degrees warmer upstairs than it is downstairs. If you keep right.
Well, be careful on that.
Be careful in the attic, so it keeps the upstairs warm. Like, and so I didn't realize upstairs, but I wouldn't have downstairs. And I couldn't have it all. Okay, you did. Kept the heat up at night instead of turning it down like I normally do upstairs. I didn't have any trouble. This is supposed to be really warm. Yeah. I mean, the lowest is the lowest. Tammy takes the car, I do, I just leave it. It's like, I gotta go to my mom, see ya, I'll be back sometime. Well, you know, if you really got stuff, you could call me, I would come get it. I always suggested that to him, but we thought maybe. Take you and drop you in Fairfield sometime. Well, I didn't know that. But I said, if the transport wants to meet you like in Home Depot, I was like, you could call Kevin, you could call Connie, you could call lots of people in town, somebody would take you. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know, but then they didn't even call. Yeah, for sure. I think it's really I guess so. Everyone should. That's what we should have done, put the money into the plane, one-way plane ticket instead of the transport. I believe you take my Southwest miles, it's free, it's one-way ticket there. That's right, well, we should have, in hindsight, we should have, because I think we're
understand her, but he could understand me. Oh, she would make me wait on Mr. Garner.
Well, now you know what, Lenora,
That's
she wants to
right.
be loud.
That's right. Oh, yeah. No. She'd say, you wait on him, he can't understand me. Raise your voice up. I don't think he had a hearing aid. But he was definitely-
They didn't have hearing aids
Back
back
then,
then.
he was definitely blind. Now, Tim's grandma did, and she had the ones where you had the, like a transistor radio. Yeah. She wore all of it, and when she was, most people that are deaf, my grandmother wouldn't talk on the phone because she couldn't hear.
Yeah.
Grandma Schulteis, the first time she answered the phone, I thought, how the hell is she gonna do that? She turned the receiver upside down and put that, and she was on the party line, she knew everything that went on with the people on her party line too, I'm telling you. When Franklin said that about the party,
I was the party line.
oh my God, she knew everything that went on. But she would talk on the phone all day. Yeah, she was blind.
Wow.
But she would talk on that phone for hours. And I thought, how she did, because I can remember my dad's mom, she wouldn't answer the phone because she couldn't hear. And she had the same setup back in those days, she had the same setup, but she wouldn't talk on the grandma, just picked that thing up, whipped it around and put the piece here, she put it next to her hearing aid.
Makes sense.
Well, my great aunt had that type of hearing aid.
Yeah.
Now, my brother, who was just funny and doing different
Yeah.
silly stuff, he would go, Aunt Marion, so that, and he would, I would be back getting ready to go to school when I was hearing my mom go, Raymond, Michael, Ray, go back and change the clothes. Just like my dad was blind. And my brother would sneak in and pick up the clothes.
Oh.
He became a doctor.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. And he was,
took her over, Mama was super drunk. She didn't know where else to go. We took her, whoever took everybody to Christmas, and I told her to get.
I didn't see the top of this. Yes, there it is, your mom walking and they dropped it off. It was a 2-gallon pickup bag. Not a gallon, it was a 2-gallon. Wow. Filled with medicine. Here's the medicine. I said, all of that for medicine? Yes. Nobody needs that much medicine. No. They left and I said, I work for vet. Animals and people. Right. I kind of know, not all. Right. I'm looking at it and I don't know why, this is ridiculous. I mean, there was just like, it was, I told him to de-escalate, you've got to get it, and you got to start getting off this stuff. It took us, what, a couple months, at least 3 months, working in the office, and she cut her down.
Some of it, you've got to be weaned off.
Yeah,
You can't
that's
do
what
it.
it is.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
cold turkey. She's like, oh, do you think? I said, we haven't changed anything, but this, oh, yes, she said, this is, and that was when they were having it on. Yeah, to keep them quiet. Yes. And took her to the family doctor. No, I didn't discover that. She thinks it's all medicine. I didn't discover any of that. I said, no, all medicine bottles, I said, do not have any permits down here. You know, Jesus is involved. I don't know how much that is awesome. And as soon as we could start seeing the progress, like slowly she was coming back to her normal self where she could finally tell me something to make sense. Yeah, she didn't even get any frustrated because she knew what she wanted to say, but she couldn't say it. Yes. And I would have, him or I, he would have the same first sentence slur, and she would be so frustrated. Yeah. And he's like, it was awesome. Awesome.
Oh, so it was the second time, this whole lifestyle, what, 2 times, and then, like a month?
Yeah, and then, Rick told me, look at those, she goes, oh, this box right here is the one I have a problem with. He was sitting on her, someone looked down and goes, this right here is the one that concerns me. I said, concerns you too. She's the one that talked about it.
Yeah,
I agree.
and the trickling, the trickle was, I'm on that, because this was probably from service.
She was in
You know, he said, no, I can't.
Wow.
He said, he said, that causes me to get this.
Yeah. 20 times.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah. So he goes,
Probably wasn't as big as,
no.
Rick either, taking in the weight difference.
Right.
He-
I mean, oh my God.
He's like, yeah, you need to drop that down to you. And now she's down to 25 milligrams. It's just lowered today. Today, and now she's finally down to 25 milligrams.
We finally moved her up where we got in the six. A lot better. Amongst all the other stuff, it's completely taken off. She said, the new didn't call me. And we said it was just a few. There was no bottle. Right.
Yeah, they do that when the night Mom died, and she couldn't swallow anything, or whatever, and the nurses said, well, you could give her something. I said, what are you giving her? Because she, and it was, I forget now what it was, but it was something that I take, that Mom didn't have the same sip, she didn't have that, whatever it was. I said, she doesn't need that. Well, the doctor prescribed it. I said, I don't care, you're not giving it to her. She doesn't need that. You're not torturing her, trying to give her a pill. She's about ready to die. In 2 more hours, she'll be gone. That dosage is not gonna make any difference. You know, and my brother's looking at me like, and I'm like, I'm sorry, she doesn't need to take that medicine, this is stupid.
And someone who's in that condition trying to get her to take a pill.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just,
yeah. The hospice had already been called in and everything like this, but they hadn't had time to get,
take all of it.
yeah, I'm like, no, we're not doing this. And she looked at my brother and he's like, whatever she said. Because he'd already been around with them that day telling them she wasn't going to do any more physical therapy. And the director was like, well, if she doesn't do physical therapy, there's no reason for her to be here, and Medicare won't cover it. And he looked at her and he said, I'll write you a check right now. How much do you need me to write it for to pay for the next month? She backed up and she said, boy, she said, you're a lot different than your sister. And he said, looked at her and I told her, you haven't pissed my sister off yet. I
I would advise you don't do it, because if you think I'm bad, just wait.
Not a walk in the park.
Yeah, 'cause he pretty much, he tells it like it is, but
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
really mad.
Yeah.
And it, when,
That's how I
especially his
get.
mom,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
stuff doesn't, but
Yeah.
you don't,
No, no, no.
you don't mess with that.
You know, 'cause they, I've had it specifically in the direction, and I signed her to stay down at Harrison
She
County.
wanted to go there.
She wanted to go there. She wanted to go there. I said, you are not to change the license at all without my express consent. Because that's what they called it, because they were changing the medicine around. And without my consent, they can't do it.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good to know, because at some point, I'll have one or both, or
Yeah.
whatever's gonna happen.
Yeah, so they were calling to let me know what the doctors was wanting to do.
Because they're charging you for medicine, they, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
slow
they
down.
don't,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They're making a fortune on that medicine.
And George, she had self-pay.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, that's even worse.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have to justify it somewhat
You
with
got the
Medicare,
bill,
but.
and it's a long,
I mean, they take, they take very good
oh,
care
yeah,
of
she
it.
did excellent care.
I mean, they have a gourmet chef from France.
Is that the one across from Home Depot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've
She
heard
wanted
good
to go,
things.
she wanted to go there.
Yeah.
She has money, it's her money,
Right.
so boy, you can't.
That's
Right.
And honestly, nobody in the family can give her the care that she needs.
No.
Right,
No,
we can't.
do it.
We tried
We
for
tried,
a
we
year.
can't do it. And
You
none
did
of
your
the
part.
I mean, he was upset, and, you know, it's his mother, I get it, he said he didn't want her to do it, but I said, we tried, it didn't work, and for her own safety, it's best that she's there, and she wanted to go there.
Right.
So, and she's not far from you, from
Right.
us,
No,
so,
right.
and
We've been there
it's
too.
within, for his brothers and everybody, it's close, it's nobody's gotta drive far or anything, so it worked out. So, but I'm relieved, really, because I hate when we were upstairs, so if she was to fall, we would never, we didn't know it
No.
until she would already fall, and then she'd be calling me on her phone, and then we'd be meeting always in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I'd be downstairs, and then it would be, and then I'd have to put the hammer up, and I'd be stressful, every night I'd just be.
You couldn't relax.
No, I couldn't. So,
Even if you're on the same floor.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
know. When Mom fell, they didn't hear her. And the
Yeah.
only reason they knew is because one of the dogs kept, he was agitated, going back and forth and back and forth. And Lisa finally got up to see what his problem was. And then she could hear Mom.
yeah.
And so, Dooky's my hero dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, they know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know. It got to be so stressful, and he would be able to work, and then she was just like, you know, just sitting there all day watching TV. I can't do that, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
can't. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's self-pay, it's very expensive, but they do take care of her, I mean, it's.
Well, for what you're paying, they should.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes, but you're right,
They
yeah.
also have different state standards.
Yeah, it is.
Different state self-pay. Yeah. Yes.
They are federally funded in any sort of, any way. Once they take Medicaid, bam, they're not, you know, you can't do.
Well, the sad part is down there is, it's 2 years for self-pay. But they become, you have no money left, then for insurance. That's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, I had to prove to them that she could afford to stay there for 2 years. But after that, then Medicare will fund it.
It's sad, but it's the way it is.
In the same place, the same thing.
Yes.
You can stay at the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
facility.
so they don't accept Medicare for people
Going
who
in.
stay.
No.
They accept it for rehab.
Yes.
You can
Oh.
rehab there through
Because
Medicare.
they do it like a 21-day thing.
Yeah.
And then
That's
you
what
can
Mom
get-
did.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she could
So-
go there for that, and then talk to me, she would always be able to stay there for a little bit, and then sometimes they might let it extend it for like a week or two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so most of them.
Yeah.
If it's showing, if
Yes,
it's better, but
yes.
they still need
Yes.
additional
Yes.
therapy.
But for her to stay there long term, no, that was not under insurance.
Yeah.
Unless you have actual
calls or something.
Hey, Tom, I think you left.
Tom, look at what I get to take home.
You turned it, everything turned on?
Mm-hmm. You love that thing, don't you?
Where'd Jeff go? Bring the meeting back to order. We're out of executive session at 9:28. Roll call. Come out of executive session.
Okay.
Mr. Kolb, yes. Mr. Huff,
Yes,
Mr. Brucker.
Yes.
all right,
We're in session.
we're in session. Anything else? Nope. Okay, meeting adjourned?
Nope, gotta make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Yeah. Make a
Sec-
motion, meeting adjourned?
Second.
Mr. Huff,
Yes,
Mr. Brucker,
Yes.
Mr. Kolb, yes.
meeting adjourned.
At 9:29.
9:29.